Hey, Tyler here with e-bike commuting. Today we're going to be walking through Vvolt's Centauri e-bike, which is right behind me. They sent this up to me about a month ago, and I've been riding around these past few weeks, testing it in Seattle on the hills as well as on the flats. And so I'm going to be walking you through today things I like about it and then areas of improvement for it as well. So a few stats about the Centauri. Retails starting at $2,199. The range is 15 to 40 miles, power 650 watts, and comes in class 1 or class 3. Class 3 gives you up to 26 miles per hour of pedal assist, and it weighs 51 pounds. So first, real quick, let's talk about assembly. So it came in this box right here, pretty large box. Basically, the bike was mostly assembled. So the only thing I really had to do, I had to put on the fender, the front fender, the front wheel, and then also the optional front rack. I decided not to put that on, but that would, just go right off the front here. And then also put the pedals on. So really only 3 things to put on. The bike already had a little bit of a charge in it, which was great. And so I was able to quickly get riding. It took me about, I think, 20 minutes. So super seamless to put together. Now, one of the things I like most about the Centauri is that Vvolt opted for a mid-drive motor and a torque sensors. So, lots of e-bikes, they just go with like a rear hub motor as well as a cadence sensor because that's a lot cheaper. But it tends to be not a very seamless riding experience. It kind of feels unnatural, like you're pedaling and it just suddenly kicks in as you hit a certain cadence. What's really nice about the torque sensor and what I have on my Urban Arrow that I ride every day is that as you pedal, it applies power to match how much force you're putting into the pedals. So the Centauri 650 watt motor plus that torque sensor give it a real good amount of acceleration and power to handle hills, get good acceleration on the flats. I was test riding the class 3 version. It comes in both class 1 or class 3. I was testing the class 3 version, so it had some good acceleration. It could quickly get up to 25 miles an hour. I didn't take it any faster than that, just because I felt like didn't really need to go faster than 25 miles an hour. But yeah, so going back to the mid-drive motor, that just was really easy and natural to ride. So I really enjoyed that. The other thing I really like about the Centauri is that I think it's basically because they're from Portland, they understand that, bad weather can really wear down a bike. And so they've opted for a Gates belt drive plus an internal hub, which basically keeps all those components protected from the elements. So that means that it's just going to last a lot longer than a traditional bicycle chain drivetrain. And then speaking of bad weather, the other thing that I really like about it is they have long rain fenders. So they come down super far. The only other bike I think I've seen that has rain fenders that come down this far are the Priority Current e-bike. Their rain fenders also come down really far. So something I really like to see, being based in Seattle and riding in rainy weather often, is that belt drive, internal hub, and then really good rain fenders. So all 3 of those things Vvolt has, and the Centauri is great for that. Vvolt put on 45 millimeter tires. These are super thick, super plush. I was, took it across some kind of potholed streets, and it handled those just fine. The Centauri doesn't come with suspension, so that's always a concern. Is when you don't have suspension, the bike is going to be a little more responsive and feel quicker to turn, and just feel a little bit lighter when lighter handling. But it can definitely be bumpy if you have a bumpy ride. So it's good that Vvolt added these bigger, thicker tires. They definitely help cushion those bumps and the potholes and stuff. So it's a good balance, I think. I think they've struck a good balance here. Another nice touch that Vvolt did is they've added a bunch of, they've made their logo as well as added a few reflective graphics like on the inner fork as well and the rear seat stays that reflect really nicely in low light. So I'll pop up a picture here. We can kind of see the reflection in that low light, but it really pops. So it's just like a nice attention to detail that I appreciate about Vvolt. Now a few areas where I think the Centauri falls a little bit short, where it could be improved. The first was the handlebar grips. I was riding, even on the first ride I took with it, about 20 minutes in, my wrists were starting to hurt, and I realized just the grip placement was a little off, and it just wasn't that comfortable holding onto the handlebars for a long period of time. They have bolts in them that you can adjust and spin them, so I moved them slightly, and that was much better. But it might take a little bit of tinkering with to get something that's comfortable for you. It wasn't comfortable right off the bat. The biggest area of improvement for the Centauri is that it doesn't come with integrated lights. It comes with some nice attachable, rechargeable lights that you can put on the front and rear. Not a deal breaker by any means, but I often find that I forget to charge my lights, or I just forget my lights. Having them integrated is always just like a nice fail-safe, essentially. Like, I know I'm not going to forget my lights, or if I stay at the office a little bit too long, and it's daylight savings changed, and it suddenly gets darker quicker than I expected, I'm not suddenly riding home with slowly fading lights that I forgot to charge. And then the last thing was just the battery and range. So it comes with a 375 watt battery. Volt on their website advertises I think it's 15 to 40 miles. I was riding it around on pedal assist 4. They have 5 pedal assist levels, so I was riding the class 3 on like close to the max pedal assist level, and noticed I got about 20 miles, so not definitely not anywhere near that 40 miles. I think that's if you're riding at like very low level assist. So I think if you have a commute that's in like a 20-mile range and you don't want to be charging on both ends, I would definitely opt for the 500 watt battery, which is an option that Volt offers. So yeah, that's the Vvolt Centauri. All in all, I really enjoyed riding the bike. I love the belt drive, the mid-drive motor. It was super responsive, super fast. Just had like a very good position on it. The bike, it just felt super natural riding it around. And one thing I didn't mention, but like just the style of the bike, it doesn't scream e-bike, which is just kind of nice when you're riding around. Sometimes it's just nice to feel like you're not just on like a utility e-bike or like a cargo e-bike, which is usually my daily ride. So it's fun to be on a bike that was just a little bit more streamlined, more stylish, but then also just like super responsive, super fast. And with that belt drive too, it just was like super smooth pedaling. So all in all, definitely recommend the Centauri. You should check out Volt. All right, thanks.